Yo, what's up? It's your boy. And today I got a special one for you guys. Been getting this video requested a lot. I'm gonna be going over all of my settings and showing you what settings I've been running to hopefully help you guys out. So without further ado, let's get into it.
You are a hindrance.
Never really done a video like this before, so bear with me. No scripts, just kind of talking off the top, but hopefully I can do something for you guys. Interact prompt style, compact, button hints off, just makes for my screen looking a lot cleaner. I would recommend that if you're a newer player, you have both of these settings to on, or I guess interact prompt style default, because it is helpful, but for me it just stopped serving that purpose, I suppose, because I got to a certain level. However, yeah, if you're a new player, definitely have these both on default and on. If you consider yourself intermediate or better, then worth considering turning that to compact or off, but at the end of the day, it's just preference. Crosshair damage feedback, X with shield icon. It's just the most information. Damage numbers, stacking. Ping opacity, I have it on faded. Obituaries on. Minimap rotation off. Weapon auto cycle on empty on. Auto sprint on. Double tap to sprint off. Jetpack control toggle. Incoming damage feedback 3D. Taking damage closes death box or crafting menu. I have this off. This is really important. Say you're in the middle of a gunfight, you're going for a shield swap. You take some fire, and instead of being able to just complete the process of getting the shield swap in a dire situation, it'll just close the death box on you, assuming this setting is on. So it's really important that you have this off, in my opinion. That's like a huge part of this game. Huge skill gap is just armor swapping, especially on controller. It's really difficult, more difficult than mouse and keyboard. This is all just preference here. So here's my reticle color. The proper name for it is light washed spring green. I listed it in the description of every video I put out. I like it. It works really well for me. I don't really ever have problems with visibility. When they implemented the option to change your reticle color, obviously I just wanted to try something different, just to be different. I think I initially started with this color. This one worked for me for a while, for sure. So would also recommend just this default one, but yeah, I don't know. I just noticed I was hitting a lot more shots with the green, or the light wash spring green color. I was using this one for a while. So this is probably my second favorite reticle color. I've also tried like white. I really wanted a light white because I thought that was just going to look so cool, but it just doesn't really do it for me. And yeah, the most important thing is picking a reticle color that helps you hit your shots. This is the one I run. Yeah, works for me. I think it works better than just your standard like lime green color. I don't know why. I just like it a little less prominent, a little more faded for whatever reason. So yeah, that's my reticle. As for my laser sight, I just run the recommended yellow. I feel like it's both visible, but also not distracting. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna go through my video settings really quick before we get into the meat of it all. Display mode, full screen, aspect ratio 16:9, resolution 1920 by 1080. Yeah, I play on a 1080p, 240 hertz monitor. So brightness 50%, FOV I run 110. FOV ability scaling, have this disabled. Sprint view shake, I have this on minimal. V-sync disabled. Enabled plus boost. And pretty much all of my settings are on low. All right, here's my controller settings. As you can see, I run ALCs, and we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, so I have a customized button layout. These are customized just based off of what my preferences are. I run a DualShock 4. I have the standard PlayStation back paddle attachment. It's pretty cheap, you can get it off Amazon. The DualShock 4 has just worked for me. Like the build quality is strong. It's very consistent. It lasts a long time. So for right now, it's what's serving me. What I switched was ADS and fire to L1 and R1 instead of L2 and R2. So that flips my tactical ability to L2. I think R1 is usually ping for most people, but I have R2 on melee. And I put ping as my R3 button. My ultimate ability is just, instead of L1, R1 together, it'd just be L2 and R3. So yeah, a little bit different, but it's what works for me. Stick layout, default, interact, tap to use and reload. Crouch on hold. Yeah, if you don't have a back paddle, if you don't play claw, probably run toggle. However, I think hold is just the superior thing. Yeah, so crouch on hold, aim on hold, survival slot button. So I've always had this on. I recently turned it off for no reason other than just this, just being able to inspect my heirloom. Or if I don't have my heirloom equipped, it just lets me do the sweaty knuckle crack that I see M&K players do all the time. But because of that, say I pick up an evac right here, I can't, you know, use my survival slot button. I have to go into my menu to do that. There have been a couple times where it's become an issue, for sure. But I've gotten pretty quick at it. Like, I don't even think about it. I used to maybe like turn it off in pubs, turn it on in ranked, you know, but I think I just got past the point of it being like uncomfortable, and I got so used to just opening my survival slot button. See, pretty quick, but you know, it might be worth it to, if you are the controller player on your squad, or if you have the survival slot button on or off, I mean, instead of carrying heat shields, you carry the Moby or you carry the evac tower, you know what I mean? Where it's just less dire. So you're not just like sweaty and stiff and trying to fumble through menuing just to, like, you know, get that off. You know what I mean? I recently turned trigger dead zones down to none. So let me try it out right now really quick. None. The R9 is so sad now. Yeah, I think both feel good. None are default, but I have that on none. My menu cursor speed, I have it almost halfway. It's important to, like, train yourself to get this as fast as possible, but obviously too fast is just not going to serve you either. I have it just below the N on none, just like one tick. 4-3 linear is what's really popular, as you guys probably know, especially on console where there's just more input lag. I would definitely recommend getting comfortable with like linear. It would just eliminate a lot of the input lag, but I definitely feel that, you know, how settings feel on console versus PC are going to feel pretty different in my opinion, just because of input lag, because of the difference in aim assist, frames, all of that. But yeah, 4-3 linear is really popular. 4-3 linear, no dead zone. You're gonna have some stick drift. It's pretty wet. Never really been a linear player, but yeah, 4-3 linear is kind of crazy, not gonna lie. But yeah, some variation of this is probably what's gonna work for most people, or what you should strive to play on. If you really hate stick drift, then small, but most pros, this is what most pros are running, right? Other good options are 4-3 classic, 4-4 classic, 5-4. Some people run 6-4, 5-4, 5-3. I think I was running 4-4 classic when I was on console. Switched to ALCs when I got my PC, but this is just gonna feel, so honestly, it doesn't really feel good to me anymore. But yeah, I was coming from Call of Duty, and they don't have advanced settings, right? I mean, this is, yeah. This feels like a controller sense, you know? Linear is supposed to feel like MNK input with how it feels, but I've always been a controller player. I've always liked how it feels, you know? Not necessarily trying to be an MNK player, but there are advantages and disadvantages, obviously. So running on classics, it's gonna feel a lot stickier. Yeah, I just think this is gonna feel more comfortable to most people, but it also just depends on how your brain works and what your play style is. Some people may prefer linear, or maybe not at first, but yeah, this is just classic is sticky. Holy. Yeah, classic is sticky, it's consistent. Never mind. This feels great. Man. Yeah, but also really good sensitivity for sure. All right, so I run ALCs. Dead zone. Dead zone's 3. Outer threshold 1. Response curve 9. Dead zone and response curve are like the biggest things, being able to adjust this so precisely. I think this is a big proponent of what makes ALCs appealing to me, and it should be more appealing to most people. Obviously, there's just advantages to having simple settings such as, you know, 4-3 linear, 4-4 classic, whatever. But yeah, classic being 10, linear being 0. So just like the range in which you can adjust your sense is just like a crazy aspect to ALCs. I really like it, you know? So if you're just really fine tune what works for you. 3 feels good to me now. I may take it lower in the future, but if I just always run a 3 dead zone, I never have to adjust what my dead zone is as my controller gets older. I'm not the type of ALC player that is always like fine tuning my settings or switching what my settings are, like making all these minor adjustments every day, every week. Like I barely ever change my settings. I just find what works and stick with it. And then after like a long period of time, maybe I'll tweak a couple of things. But yeah, all that being said, I have my dead zone set to 3. Outer threshold, I have it on 1. It doesn't really serve me because I don't use any of these turning ramp up time, turning extra pitch, turning extra yaw. So this is only a setting that would matter if you have these values on anything other than 0, which I don't. My response curve is at 9, so 10 is classic, 0 is linear. I took it down to 9. It just feels a little, like 10 was just feeling a little too dull. So I would say if you're a classic player and it feels a little too dull for you and you want it to be a little twitchier, take it down to like 9, 8, maybe even 7. So 9 is what works for me right now. I could see myself taking it lower in the future, but I've been running a 9 response curve for months now. The same thing applies if you're a linear player and you feel like 0 is just a little too raw for you, then you can run a response curve of 2, 3, 4. Okay, but yeah, yaw speed 350, pitch speed 300, ADS yaw speed 120, ADS pitch speed 100. Some people say that, and you'll probably see that some people have all these values the same. This is just what feels good to me. This is what I'm used to. All the turning ramp up times, I have that on 0. Here are my per optic settings. Just like with the way I aim, I need it to be a little more sensitive on 3x and up. It's all preference at the end of the day. But yeah, those are my settings. Hopefully this video helps you. Let me know in the comments what settings you're running this season. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.